You ever get that feeling that your stuff is watching you? Well, you might not be totally wrong. Today, we're diving into the Internet of Things, that massive, invisible network that's connecting everything from your coffee maker to entire cities. And it's changing our world in ways we're only just starting to wrap our heads around. Okay, just picture this for a second. What if your coffee maker, your car, the streetlights outside, even the shipping containers crossing the ocean? What if every single one of those objects could talk? Not with words, obviously, but with data. That, right there, is the big idea behind the Internet of Things, or as you'll hear it called, IoT. So, what even is the IoT really? And while that name sounds super futuristic, the idea itself has actually been around for a while. Believe it or not, it all started back in the 80s with some thirsty programmers and a very relatable problem. So, at its heart, the IoT is all about giving everyday physical things a kind of digital voice. You take an object, you embed it with sensors, you connect it to a network, and suddenly it can collect and share information about itself and what's going on around it. It's almost like we're giving the physical world its own nervous system. And this all goes back to 1982. Some programmers at Carnegie Mellon were tired of trekking all the way to the Coke machine just to find out it was empty, or even worse, full of warm sodas. So what did? They hooked it up to the early internet so they could check from their desks if it was stocked and cold. Genius, right? Then you fast forward to 1999, and the term Internet of Things gets its official name. But the real explosion, the moment this thing really took off, was around 2008. That's when the number of connected devices officially became larger than the number of people on the planet. So yeah, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. The IoT is already here. It's woven into our daily lives in ways you might not even notice. Let's just look at a few examples that are probably pretty familiar. I mean, just think about your own home. You've got smart thermostats that learn when you're gone to save a little energy. You've got lights that can turn on right before you pull into the driveway. Your video doorbell can tell the difference between a person and a car. All these little gadgets are constantly talking to each other, making our homes more responsive and hopefully a bit more efficient. And what about that thing on your wrist? That smartwatch is a perfect example of what's sometimes called the Internet of Medical Things. It's doing way more than just counting your steps, right? It's tracking your heart rate. It's analyzing how you sleep. It's turning personal health from just a guessing game into something you can track with real hard data. Now, zoom out from your wrist to your entire city. There are thousands and thousands of sensors out there working behind the scenes. They're managing traffic lights to cut down on congestion, they're helping you find that one open parking spot, and they're even monitoring air and water quality. It's this huge invisible network that's making our cities smarter and, ideally, better places to live. Okay, but if you think the IoT is just about smart thermostats and fitness trackers, you're really only seeing the tip of the iceberg. The real revolution, the part that is completely transforming our economy, is happening out of sight on this massive industrial scale. Get ready for this number. In 2023, there were over 16.6 billion connected IoT devices. That's more than 2 devices for every single person on Earth. And that number is just shooting upwards. So where are they all? And this is what's so fascinating. When you look at where these devices actually are, it tells a really interesting story. Now, that purple slice for consumer gadgets, or smart speakers and watches, that's about a third. It's big. But look at everything else. Asset tracking, industrial monitoring, smart meters. When you add it all up, you realize the huge majority of the IoT is totally invisible to us. It's working inside the factories, the supply chains, and the power grids that make our world run. This is the industrial IoT. We're talking about sensors in factories that can predict when a machine is about to break down, preventing these super expensive shutdowns. In agriculture, sensors in the soil tell farmers exactly when and where to water, saving water and boosting crop yields. In hospitals, smart beds can alert a nurse the second a patient tries to get up. And our infrastructure, sensors are monitoring the health of bridges and railways to keep us all safe. All of this sounds amazing, right? A world of seamless efficiency and safety. But you knew there was a but coming. There's a flip side. When you connect everything, you also create brand new ways for things to go wrong. What's the price we pay for all this connection? And this really gets to the core dilemma of the IoT. On one side, you have this promise of incredible convenience, efficiency, and safety. But on the other side,
Every single one of those connected devices is a potential backdoor for a hacker, it's a security risk, and it's a source of deeply personal data that could be leaked or misused. Listen to how the ACLU puts this concern. They say that as we give away more and more of our data, we risk making it harder for us to control our own lives. That's a really powerful warning about the kind of trade-off we're making here.
And look, this isn't just theory. This stuff is real. You might remember the Mirai botnet attack. Hackers took control of hundreds of thousands of totally normal devices, things like security cameras and printers that still had their default passwords, and used them to shut down huge chunks of the internet. And it can get way more personal and way more terrifying. Researchers have proven that it's possible to remotely hack medical implants like pacemakers. I mean, the stakes here are literally life and death. So, where does that leave us? How do we get all the amazing benefits of this connected world without exposing ourselves to all of these really serious dangers? Well, regulators like the US Federal Trade Commission have actually laid out a pretty clear, common sense path. Number one, companies have to build security into their devices from the very beginning, not just tack it on later. Number two, users have to be given a real choice and real control over what data they share. And number three, companies should only collect the data they absolutely need and only keep it for as long as they need it. It's a basic framework for a much more responsible IoT. Which really brings us back full circle to the central question of this whole connected age. As we fill our homes, our cities, and our lives with billions of devices that can see and hear and sense everything around us, we have to keep asking ourselves this. Our devices are definitely getting smarter, but are we getting any safer? That's the challenge for all of us.